Attack on Titan Season 4 Episode 12, titled Guides. In the last episode of Attack on Titan, we were following the turn of events that happened after Gabi and Falco managed to escape prison, and by a strange twist of fate, the two ended up at the Blouse family house, which is the family of Sasha who Gabi actually killed. We saw just how brainwashed Gabi had been by Marley through her interactions with Kaya, who wanted to know if her mother had any reason to die the agonizing death she did. But no matter how much Gabi tried to justify the reasoning, it didn't make sense for one to be punished for the sins of their ancestors. And with the end of the episode, we see the warrior unit back in Marley and Commander Magath planning to attack the island of Paradise immediately, meaning things are about to get serious. So today I'm going to be breaking down and analysing this latest episode of Attack on Titan, while clearing up some things you might have missed or were unsure about. So if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and check out some of my other Attack on Titan content. Also, we are on the road to 5,000 subscribers, which I'm trying to hit before the end of the season. So if you've been enjoying these breakdown videos, make sure to show your support. However, with that being said, let's get right into the video. With the beginning of episode 12, we see Armin visiting Annie, only to be interrupted by Hitch. And for those of you who might have forgotten due to her different appearance, Hitch was Annie's roommate and is also a member of the military police. So Hitch was actually just teasing Armin for visiting Annie and trying to touch her, just as a joke. But Armin and Hitch have actually been paying visits to Annie since she entered her crystal, and have been having conversations with her, even though she can't respond. Once the two leave Annie, we see the aftermath of the military's decision to come find Eren. As we learned in the most previous episode, Flock and the other Jaegerists leaked the information to the public of Eren being arrested, which obviously led people to being conflicted, as Eren is pretty much the savior of Paradise and their hope for survival. So it's understandable why they all came together in the streets and outside of headquarters to say free Eren and he shouldn't be locked up, etc. But they weren't aware that the military has no idea what Eren's motives are, which is why they arrested him to be on the safe side. The next scene we have is Pixis continuing his conversation from the last episode with Yelena, and she admits that she secretly came into contact with Eren behind the military's back. And the reason that she did this wasn't to get Eren to go along with Zeke's plan, but more so to highlight the sense of urgency of the situation at hand, which just goes back into the whole divided mindsets on how to tackle the current problem. Yelena believed that something needed to be done straight away to deter Marley, and since the people of Paradise are obviously not in tune with how the world really is, she knew that if they continued with their extreme cautiousness, that it would have been too late to save the people of Eldia. So when she came into contact with Eren, she wanted to let him know this, however Eren was already on the same page. Pixis then further questions Yelena's motives, but ultimately she says that she simply wanted to know what kind of person Eren Yeager was, and how he would act in this situation. After Eren led the attack on Marley and was able to inflict so much damage on them, Yelena was convinced that Eren and Zeke would be the ones to change the world. And while being personally happy to see Marley under pressure, Yelena believes that what she did was right with the whole secret meeting with Eren and using Flock as a middleman, and that the world is going to change due to the Jaeger brothers, and she wants to be present for it. However, Pixis is still unconvinced by her words. Even though we saw in a previous episode the anti-Marleyan volunteers being arrested by the military, which was a clear sign of their weakness, it's obvious that neither side trusts one another, and that the military actually arresting the volunteers was a good call. In the next scene we see Onyankopon and Hange sitting together, and this whole scene is just further showing that although they are both anti-Marleyan volunteers, Onyankopon isn't the same as Yelena, as he questioned Hange for the suspicion of the volunteers despite all the achievements both sides accomplished together, and the loyalty they've shown through the battles they've had. And naturally the whole situation at hand calls for this type of suspicion to be present, especially when it's the lives of an entire race at stake. But Hanji tells Onyankopon that Yelena and Eren met in secret, and that she also admitted to this, which was much to the surprise of Onyankopon. Onyankopon says that he and his comrades truly believe all the actions they've taken is for the benefit of Eldia, and regardless of whether it was friend or foe, Yelena would always take out those in the way of their mission, although her actions now have been kind of contradictory with her treatment towards the Marleyans on Paradise, which has left Hange with uncertainty. We then see Mikasa and Armin paying a visit to Commander Zachary to discuss the Eren situation. Mikasa and Armin's goal is to meet with Eren to see if they can find out his intentions. And since they're all best friends, they believe he would be more likely to disclose any hidden information he has. However, Commander Zachary declines their request to meet Eren, and let me just summarize why. First, we have Eren's secret meetings with the volunteers before he launches his attack on Marley, the fact that he's refusing to cooperate despite the military being aware of this and questioning him, And last but not least, they believe that Zeke is controlling Eren's actions. So now we have this situation where the military has basically given up on Eren and is likely trying to find the next person to inherit his Titan, as said by Armin. And then we have the volunteers and the civilians of Paradis who believe otherwise, and that Eren should be free since he'll be the one to save everyone. So as we can see, there's plenty of discord inside of the walls, which naturally is a recipe for disaster. As soon as we see Mikasa preparing herself to eavesdrop on the commander and the recruits, a bomb goes off in headquarters, and with it we have the death of Commander Zachary. And to add further insult to injury, we see the residents of Paradis unfazed by the situation, and instead telling everyone to dedicate their hearts to bring victory to the Eldian Empire. And this whole uprising is a result of the fear of the Titans that has loomed over Paradis for so long, and all the people who died because of this. So ever since the public found out that Marley was behind it all, etc., and the little truth they have in the world being so tragic, I mean, you can't really blame them for rebelling against the military and acting the way they are. Following the death of Commander Zachary, we learned that the bomb that went off was planted in his chair, and after analysing the situation, Armin deduces that it was Survey Corps members that were likely responsible, since they were the ones who brought in his chair and they were seen fleeing the scene prior to the explosion. And to pretty much confirm the suspicions of it being the Survey Corps, we learned that Eren has actually escaped prison. And he did say to Hange he could leave whenever he wanted, so it really was only a matter of time. We then see Eren meeting up with Flock and his other supporters, known as the Jaegerists, while Eren says that they need to find Zeke. And the whole scene of Eren walking up to the others and putting on his jacket was absolutely epic. So with Eren breaking out of jail, this pretty much confirms Armin's suspicions of Eren not necessarily being trustworthy. And it also shows that Eren has decided to take matters into his own hands when it comes to the problems of LDR versus the whole world. So the situation just keeps getting worse for the military. Despite the major problem of LDR's survival at hand, Zeke can't be trusted, the civilians are against him, they recently lost Commander Zachary, who was an important figure in their organization, and now the Jaegerist group has been formed under Eren Yeager, whose goal is to meet with Zeke. And as said by Hange, the doubt they had in Zeke and time they wasted led to all of this happening. And as a result of doing this, they put the lives of all Eldians at risk. And the Jaegerists believe in Eren, and since Eren supposedly believes in Zeke, their goal is likely to activate the rumbling. But here's a question for my non-manga readers in regards to this situation. Which side do you think is correct with their course of action? The military police who are exercising extreme caution, or the Jaegerists? However, with the terrible situation at hand with the Jaegerists, Pixis recommends that they negotiate with Eren while using Zeke's location as a bargaining chip, and that they'll commence the rumbling and continue with Zeke's plan to prevent further bloodshed of their own people. Furthermore, they won't bring up Zachary's death, as it's a small price to pay to save the lives of everyone else on LDR. And you can only imagine how hard that was for Pixis to do, taking into account Zachary was one of his close friends. And with the final parts of the episode, we have Kiyomi as Imabito offering Mikasa a means of protection should the worst come to pass for Paradis, Levi's squad, Hange and Yankapon discussing the Eren situation, while Hange has doubts on the Marleyan restaurant which was oversaw by Elena, which is also the same restaurant that Nicola works at, who we know invited the Blouse family to eat there, who have Gabi and Falco accompanying them. And the very last thing we see in this episode is peak undercover in Paradis. And with that, we come to the end of the episode. This episode was absolutely amazing. There was a lot of build up taking place with Eren breaking free from prison, the forming of the Jaegerists, etc. And with Peak being present in Paradis, although undercover, we can see that Marley is getting ready to launch their counterattack. But to rate this episode out of 10, I'll give it an 8.5. I really enjoyed this one, and finally getting to see the Eren scene animated was definitely a highlight for me. But yeah, these next 4 episodes are going to be absolutely insane. But remember to let me know what your thoughts were about everything that happened today in the comment section. And also, if I missed out any parts you wanted to be talked about, I'll be sure to do my best to respond and explain. And last but not least, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe and share. We're on the road to 5k subscribers. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.